You might be wondering, where are all the RFS lenses we were promised in the second half of 2023? We did get 2 lenses with the R7 and the R10 announcement, but nothing more. Well, I've got some really good news. Coming up, I've got a bunch of lenses that we're supposed to be getting in the first half of 2023. Details coming up, but first, I encourage you to subscribe and choose all notifications so that way you can stay up to date on all the latest camera gear, news, and rumors. Canon plans to release 3 RFS lenses in the first half of 2023. This according to Canon Rumours, and one of them will be the 11 to 22mm f4.5 to 5.6 image stabilized STM. And that's certainly nice and wide. 11 to 22mm will allow you to shoot landscapes and a lot of other things, but the full frame equivalent, well, it's around 18 to 35mm. I wish Canon had taken the focal range from the EFS, not the EFM, and the EFS 10 to 18mm gives us the full frame equivalent on the wide open side of 16mm instead of 18mm. But what we're seeing here is a trend that Canon is taking all the very popular EFM lenses and they're slowly migrating them over to the RFS mount. We can see that the 11 to 22mm is going for around $399, so that should give us a rough price point of where we expect the RFS lens to come in around $399 to $449. So the Canon RFS 11 to 22mm f4.5 to 5.6 image stabilized STM is due out in the first half of 2023. So that could be anywhere from around CP Plus to all the way up until the end of June. Another lens that we're supposed to be getting, only this one's supposed to be coming out in the next couple of weeks, alongside the Canon EOS R50. And that's the prime lens, the RFS 22mm f2. Not as wide as the 11 to 22mm, but certainly a whole lot faster at f2 versus f4.5 to 5.6. And a lot of people are going to be really happy to see this lens come out. It's a prime lens that was very popular on the EFM mount, and we'll see very, very shortly for the RFS mount. So if you've got the Canon R10 or if you've got the Canon R7, you can use this lens as well. In fact, if you've got the Canon EOS R50, you can also use this lens. There's no mention from Canon Rumours what the third lens might be that we would be getting or expected to be getting in the first half of 2023. However, I'd like to draw your attention to this rumor, this story that came out back around May of 2022, much earlier this year. Photo Rumours posted a story about 5 RFS lenses coming soon in 2022, which didn't come to pass. Some of them primes, some of them zooms, some of them super telephotos. We've heard nothing about them, no updates to the rumors, other than, of course, the 22mm, which we're supposed to get alongside the R50 before CP+. First up is the RFS 11 to 55mm f4 to 4.5 image stabilized STM, which gives us a full frame equivalent of around, 18 to 88mm? And the next one is an RFS 16 to 55mm f2.8 image stabilized USM, giving us a full frame equivalent of 25 to 88mm. But what I love about this one here is it has a USM motor and it's got an f2.8, so it's a little bit faster, which will help in low light conditions. And of course, the 22mm, not going to spend a lot of time on this because I've already talked about in this video, but that's supposed to come alongside the R50, which is supposed to be announced in just a couple of weeks. But what's really exciting to me here is the possibility of seeing the RFS 32mm f1.4 image stabilized USM. This gives us a full frame equivalent of 50mm. My favorite focal length, my favorite prime. I'm always shooting with a 50mm f1.2. That's the go-to lens for this channel. But when I'm doing a lot of run and gun outside, especially in low light conditions in the forest, I just absolutely love shooting at around anywhere between f3.2 all the way down to about f1.6. So even in some of the darkest forests, in the darkest days here in Canada, I find that f1.6 during the day is more than capable of illuminating my subject. 50mm, f1.4. That's pretty impressive. I don't know what this is going to cost or what any of these lenses are going to cost, or even if this lens is going to come to pass. And the last lens on the list is the RFS 55 to 250 f4.5 to 7.1. It's image stabilized. It's an STM with a full frame equivalent of 88mm to 400mm. And that's why I love shooting with a cropped camera. You're able to take a lens that's just kind of, okay at 25 to 250mm, but when you take into account that 1.6 times crop factor, giving you 400mm, you've now got a lens that you can use for wildlife. And yes, I get it. It's not going to give you the best optical quality. It's not going to give you the best sharpness. But for a lot of people that are looking for an affordable camera, with an affordable lens instead of spending $2,000, $3,000 or even more on a lens. I think the 25 to 250 is pretty exciting. Now, with a full frame equivalent of 88 millimeters on the, well, wide open side, it's not going to be really good for landscapes, but if you're doing sports, if you're doing wildlife, it's a lens that I think would be definitely an awful lot of fun. For everyday shooting, I really like that 32 millimeter prime, but what is the likelihood that we're going to see any of these lenses come to the market here in 2022? Well, as the story came out back in May from Photo Rumours and we haven't seen any updates, I'm really I'm tending to sour on this. Canon Rumours hasn't put out anything other than that one lens about the f22, which is a 35 millimeter equivalent. Other than that, we haven't heard anything, but we are supposed to get a bunch more lenses. One RFS that we don't know about from Canon Rumours, and this one from Photo Rumours, well, it's really hard to say. I think these focal lengths are certainly make sense. We've seen this with other crop censored cameras, so I would really like to see these in 2023. The only lenses right now that have any sort of credibility is the 22 millimeter prime, and of course the wide open 11 to 22 millimeters. What do you think of these lenses? Do they get you a little bit more excited about what's available for the R7 and the R10? Or maybe not. I mean, I'm still using crop censored EFS lenses with my Canon EOS R5. Right on the bottom here is the EF to RF adapter, and it'll take not just EF lenses, but EFS lenses. But there is a bit of a problem. When I put this on my R5, I lose 4K 120. I lose the ability to be able to do some of the other shooting modes, such as 4K oversampled 8K. And that's because as soon as I put this lens on with the adapter, Canon sees, oh, it's an EFS lens. I need to put it into cropped mode. And of course, you're not getting full sensor readout, so you're not getting that 8K oversample 4K, and you're losing 4K 120. So there are some downsides to using EFS lenses versus the native RFS lenses. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a bunch of comments about people that are still unhappy with Canon's, well, enforcement of their IP, basically banning any third-party lens manufacturers from making RF or RFS lenses. I haven't heard any updates on this story. I haven't heard about Canon getting ready to approve Sigma or Tamron lenses. There is a chance we might get some sort of announcement in 2023. I put out a video just a couple of weeks ago talking about how Canon sales in Japan had dropped off, and it was for 4 weeks straight. And what it looks like that is as a result of is just a lack of inventory, that they're just unable to get the cameras in. And who knows, maybe in the next couple of weeks, we might see those numbers change in Japan. But Canon is still selling an awful lot of cameras. And while Canon sales have been strong over the holiday season, notwithstanding what's going on in Japan, I do believe that their decision to enforce their intellectual property, which has had the result of banning any third-party lens manufacturer from making RFS or RF lenses with autofocus, from being able to participate in this market. So if you don't get Canon's permission, you're not making lenses. So right now, nobody's making third-party lenses for the Canon RF mount or RFS mount that has autofocus. And this has irritated a lot of people. So I do believe it's going to affect market share. People from Canon, I've already been told by several people watching this channel on a regular basis that they've switched to Sony, that they're holding up buying Canon until they reverse the decision, that they've gone to Fuji, or that they're even considering Lumix's new S5 Mark II or Mark IIX. So this is definitely going to have an impact on market share, but I don't think we're going to really see that until, well, later into 2023, because it takes time to see the results of these, well, sales figures from around the world. As we're seeing in Japan, 4 weeks straight, Yodobashi hasn't been able to get enough camera bodies or lenses to be able to, well, sell them. We're seeing in the United States through B&H and Amazon.com that Canon is still selling an awful lot of lenses, not only for the RF mount, but also the EF mount. So they're still selling DSLRs. And I just did a story about lens rental. One of their top rented cameras in 2022, and they're looking at lenses too. So this is a number 8th place, is the Canon 5D Mark IV. So that camera is still in high demand for people looking at renting it. A lot of people are still shooting with Canon DSLRs. So let me know what you think about this story. What lenses are you looking forward to seeing in 2023? What RFS lenses are you looking at seeing? What RF lenses are you looking at seeing? And what are your thoughts on Sigma and Tamron getting approved to make RF and RF lenses in the latter half of this year? Let me know in the comment section down below. But if you want to stay up to date on all the latest news and rumors, well, hit the subscribe button followed by choosing all notifications. And if you're looking at purchasing any of the equipment mentioned in this video, please consider using my affiliate links down below for Amazon.com or B&H.com. Doesn't cost you anything more, and it does help support this channel. But that's it for now. It's almost New Year's Eve, so I want to wish everybody a happy New Year's. I don't know if I'm going to have another video on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, but I really wish that you have a very prosperous 2023, a very healthy 2023, and I wish you all the best. So thank you so much for subscribing, watching this channel over the years. I very much do appreciate it. And again, have yourself a very happy and prosperous New Year's. We'll see you again soon.